Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our English Conversation podcast.
We're very happy you're here with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us again.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Emma.
Today, we have another slow and easy English conversation for beginners.
So relax, listen carefully, and enjoy practicing English with us.
Today's topic is one of my favorite topics ever.
Really?
Absolutely.
Let me guess. Pizza?
No.
Coffee?
Also no.
Sleeping all weekend?
Emma,
Sorry. Okay, what is it?
books.
Ah, books.
Today, we're going to talk about favorite books and how to talk about books in English.
Our title today is How to Talk About Best Books in English.
We'll share stories, funny moments, and useful English expressions.
And we'll practice natural English conversation together.
Emma, do you enjoy reading?
Yes, very much.
What do you like about reading?
I like how books can take you into another world.
That's true.
Sometimes when I read, I completely forget about time.
Same here.
1 minute it's 9 p.m.
And suddenly it's 2 in the morning.
Exactly.
Then the next day you look like a sleepy zombie.
That happened to me last week.
Really?
Yes, I stayed awake very late reading a mystery novel.
Was it that exciting?
Very exciting.
What was it about?
A missing painting in an old hotel.
Ooh, that sounds interesting already.
Every chapter ended with a surprise.
Those books are dangerous.
Dangerous?
Yes, you always want to read just one more chapter.
That is so true.
And then suddenly the sun comes up.
Exactly.
What kind of books do you usually like?
I love mystery and romance books.
That makes sense.
Why?
Because you enjoy emotional stories and solving problems.
Maybe you're right.
What about fantasy books?
Sometimes.
Only sometimes?
Dragons are not really my thing.
Emma, dragons are amazing.
They are also terrifying.
Fair point.
What kinds of books do you like?
I love fantasy and adventure stories.
I knew it.
Why?
Because you love imagination and action.
True.
Do you have a favorite book?
Yes, my favorite is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Very famous choice.
I know,
Why do you love it so much?
because it made me feel magical when I was younger.
That's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
I remember reading it for the first time too.
Really?
Yes, I loved the magical school and the friendships.
The friendships are one of the best parts.
Definitely.
Good books create unforgettable characters.
Characters that feel almost real.
Exactly.
Some stories stay in your heart for years.
I still remember books from my childhood.
Me too.
Books can also teach us many things.
Yes, not only language, but also ideas, emotions, and different cultures.
Reading in English is also great practice for learners.
Definitely.
You can learn vocabulary naturally while enjoying a story.
And reading helps improve grammar too.
Plus, it feels more fun than studying long grammar lists.
Much more fun.
Do you prefer paper books or ebooks?
Paper books.
Same.
I love holding a real book in my hands,
And the smell of books is amazing.
especially old books.
Old bookstores feel magical.
Yes, quiet, cozy, and full of stories.
I could spend hours inside a bookstore.
Me too.
Although sometimes I buy books faster than I read them.
Tom, that's a serious problem.
I know.
How many unread books do you have? Tom?
Maybe 20.
20?
Okay, maybe 30.
That's not a small number.
I like collecting books.
You mean buying books?
Same thing.
Not exactly.
One day I will read all of them.
Hopefully before the year 2050.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk more about favorite books, reading habits, and useful English vocabulary.
We'll also share funny reading experiences and recommendations.
So grab a cup of coffee
Or tea.
or your favorite book.
And let's continue together.
So Emma, let's talk about our favorite books.
Great idea.
I'm very excited for this part.
I can see that.
Books are special because every person connects with different stories.
That's true.
Some people love adventure,
Others love romance or mystery.
and some people read scary books before sleeping.
I still don't understand those people.
Same, I would never sleep again.
Exactly.
Emma, what is one of your favorite books of all time?
That's difficult.
Why?
Because I love many books.
Okay, tell us one that stayed in your heart for a long time.
I would say Pride and Prejudice.
Ah, yes, the famous classic.
Yes.
What do you love about it?
I love the characters and the conversations.
Especially Mr. Darcy?
Maybe.
Emma?
Okay, yes, a little.
I knew it.
The story feels very human and emotional.
Can you explain the story simply for our listeners?
Of course.
Go ahead.
The story is about a young woman named Elizabeth Bennet.
And her family, right?
Yes, she has 4 sisters, and their mother really wants them to marry rich men.
That already sounds stressful.
Very stressful.
What is Elizabeth like?
She's smart, funny, honest, and independent.
Sounds like a strong character.
She really is.
And then Mr. Darcy appears.
Yes,
He's rich, serious, and very proud.
exactly.
Do they like each other at first?
Not at all.
Really?
Elizabeth thinks Darcy is arrogant.
And Darcy?
He thinks Elizabeth is not important enough.
Ouch.
Yes, their relationship starts very badly.
So how does the story become romantic?
Slowly.
Slowly?
Very slowly.
That sounds painful.
Tom.
Sorry.
They slowly learn more about each other.
So the story is about misunderstanding and personal growth.
Exactly.
I think that's why people still love the book today,
Yes, the emotions feel very real.
even after hundreds of years.
That's the magic of a classic story.
I should finally read it someday.
You really should.
Okay, now it's my turn.
Yes. Tell us about your favorite book.
One of my favorite books is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
A very popular choice.
I know, but I truly love it.
What makes it so special for you?
The feeling of entering a magical world.
That feeling is wonderful.
The story begins with a young boy named Harry Potter.
Harry lives with his aunt and uncle, right?
Yes, and they treat him very badly.
Poor Harry.
He feels lonely and different from everyone else.
Until one important letter arrives.
Exactly.
The famous letter.
You are invited to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
That sentence changed everything.
Suddenly, Harry discovers he's a wizard.
Imagine hearing that about yourself.
Honestly, I'm still waiting for my letter.
Tom, I don't think it's coming.
Let me dream, Emma.
Okay.
Harry enters a magical school full of moving staircases, strange teachers, and hidden secrets.
That sounds so fun.
It really is.
Who are your favorite characters?
I love Hermione.
Good choice.
She's intelligent, brave, and hardworking.
And Ron?
Ron is funny and loyal.
The friendship between the 3 characters feels very real.
Exactly.
That's what makes readers care about them.
The story is magical, but the emotions feel human.
That's very important in storytelling.
Good stories make people feel connected.
Even if the story has magic or dragons.
See, dragons are important.
Fine. Maybe a little.
Victory.
Don't get too excited.
Too late.
Do you remember your favorite scene from the book?
Yes.
Which one?
The moment Harry first enters the great dining hall at Hogwarts.
With the floating candles?
Yes.
That scene feels magical even in the movie.
I remember imagining everything while reading.
Books let readers create pictures in their minds.
That's one of the best things about reading.
Definitely.
What about your favorite scene in Pride and Prejudice?
I love the scenes where Elizabeth and Darcy argue.
You enjoy the drama.
Maybe a little.
Those dialogues are famous.
Because they are clever and emotional at the same time.
Good dialogue can make a story unforgettable.
Exactly.
Have you ever cried while reading a book?
Yes.
Really?
Of course.
Which book made you cry?
The Little Prince.
Oh, that book is emotional.
Very emotional.
I remember feeling sad for days after finishing it.
Some stories stay with you for a long time.
That's the power of storytelling.
A good story can change the way people think and feel.
And sometimes even change their lives.
Exactly.
Emma, there are so many different kinds of books in the world.
That's true. Sometimes I walk into a bookstore and I don't know where to look first.
Same here. There are fantasy books, mystery books, romance books, science fiction books, history books.
And don't forget comic books. I still enjoy comics sometimes.
Really? I thought only children read comics.
No way. Many adults read them too. Some comics have amazing stories and beautiful artwork.
That's interesting. I used to read superhero comics when I was younger.
Who was your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man. I liked him because he was funny and kind.
That makes sense. He feels more human than some other superheroes.
Exactly. What about you? What kind of books do you usually enjoy the most?
I really love mystery books.
Oh, mystery books are exciting.
Yes, I love trying to guess who did something before the end of the story.
Are you good at solving the mystery?
Sometimes, but many writers are very clever.
I always guess the wrong person.
Really?
Yes, every single time.
That actually sounds funny.
It is. I always say, I know who the bad guy is, and then I'm completely wrong.
Maybe you trust people too easily.
Maybe, or maybe mystery writers are just too smart.
That could also be true.
I also enjoy adventure books.
Adventure stories are great because they make you feel like you are traveling with the characters.
Yes, you can visit jungles, mountains, islands, or even space.
Books are amazing like that. You can travel without leaving your room.
That's one of my favorite things about reading.
Me too.
Do you prefer long books or short books?
Honestly, it depends on the story.
That's a good answer.
Some long books are wonderful because you spend more time with the characters.
And some long books feel too long.
Exactly.
I once started a book that was almost 1,000 pages long.
Wow, did you finish it?
Yes, after 4 months.
4 months? That's a very long reading journey.
It felt like climbing a mountain.
But you finished it. That's impressive.
Thank you. What about you? Do you read every day?
I tried to.
What does your reading routine look like?
Usually, I read at night before bed.
That sounds relaxing.
It really is. I make a cup of tea, sit under a blanket, and read quietly for about 30 minutes.
That sounds like the perfect evening.
It's very peaceful. What about you?
I like reading in cafes.
Really?
Yes, I love the sound of people talking softly and coffee machines in the background.
Interesting. I thought noise would make reading difficult.
For some reason, cafe sounds help me focus.
That's funny because I need complete silence.
Everyone has different reading habits.
That's true.
Do you prefer paper books or ebooks?
That's a difficult question.
It's the classic debate.
I love paper books because they feel more special.
I agree. I like turning real pages.
And I love the smell of books.
Old books smell amazing.
Yes, some bookstores have that wonderful old paper smell.
But ebooks are very convenient too.
Definitely. You can carry hundreds of books in one small device.
That's perfect for traveling.
Exactly.
I also like audiobooks.
Me too. Audiobooks are great when you are cooking or walking.
Or cleaning the house.
Yes, cleaning feels less boring with a good story.
That's very true.
Audiobooks are also useful for English learners.
Because you can hear pronunciation clearly.
Exactly. You can learn how native speakers say words naturally.
Listening and reading together is a very smart way to practice English.
I completely agree.
Reading habits are very personal.
Yes, some people read one book every week.
And some people read slowly and carefully.
The important thing is to enjoy the experience.
Exactly. Reading should not feel like homework all the time.
Books should make you curious, excited, emotional, or relaxed.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
So, Emma, if you could spend one whole day reading anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh, easy. A small cabin in the mountains with rain outside.
Wow, that sounds like a movie scene.
What about you?
A quiet beach with warm sunshine and a huge stack of books.
That also sounds perfect.
Maybe one day we should both take a reading vacation.
Honestly, that sounds like a dream.
Tom, Emma, can I tell you something funny?
Of course, Tom. I love funny stories.
One time I was reading a very emotional book on the bus.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going.
Yes, I started crying a little.
A little?
Okay, maybe a lot.
Really? What happened?
The main character finally found his lost dog after many years.
Ah, that sounds emotional.
It was. The dog ran toward him in the rain, and the music in my imagination made everything even sadder.
Music in your imagination?
Yes, when I read emotional scenes, my brain creates movie music.
That is actually very funny and very cute.
But the problem was, people on the bus started looking at me.
Oh no.
One woman even asked, "Are you okay?"
What did you say?
I said, "Yes, the dog came home."
Tom, that sounds so dramatic.
I know, she looked very confused.
Honestly, books can make us very emotional sometimes.
What about you? Have you ever cried while reading?
Yes, many times.
Really?
Especially when I become attached to the characters.
I understand that feeling.
One time, I cried at the end of a romance novel.
Was the ending sad?
No, that's the funny part.
Wait, it was a happy ending?
Yes, everyone was happy, but I cried because the story finished.
Oh, I know that feeling too.
I loved the characters so much that I didn't want to leave their world.
That means the writer did a very good job.
Exactly. Great books make you feel like the characters are your friends.
Sometimes I miss fictional characters after finishing a book,
Me too. It feels strange when the story suddenly ends.
especially after reading a long series.
Yes, you spend weeks or months with those characters.
Then suddenly it's over.
It feels like saying goodbye to old friends.
Books are powerful like that.
They really are.
I also had another funny reading experience once.
Oh, tell me.
I was reading late at night in bed.
That sounds normal.
It was a scary mystery book.
Bad idea before sleeping.
Exactly. Every small sound in my house suddenly became terrifying.
What kind of sounds?
The wind outside, the refrigerator, even my cat walking in the hallway.
Your imagination became too active.
Yes, at one point I heard a noise behind me and nearly jumped out of bed.
What was it?
My phone fell on the floor.
Tom.
I know, I almost became the ghost in the story myself.
That is why I avoid scary books at night.
Smart decision.
I prefer light and relaxing books before sleeping.
Like romance books?
Exactly, or funny stories.
Have you ever laughed loudly while reading?
Yes, once I laughed so loudly in a coffee shop that people turned around and stared at me.
What was so funny?
A character sent a romantic text message to the wrong person.
Oh no, that is embarrassing.
Very embarrassing, and the situation became worse and worse.
Comedy books can be wonderful.
They really can. Reading should not always be serious.
I agree. Sometimes we read to learn, and sometimes we read just to relax and enjoy ourselves.
Exactly. Books can make us laugh, cry, feel nervous, or feel inspired.
That is the magic of storytelling.
Every good story gives us emotions and memories.
And sometimes funny stories to tell later.
Like crying on a bus because a dog came home.
Tom, please don't remind everyone about that.
Sorry, Tom, but it's a wonderful story.
Wow, Emma, we talked about many interesting books today.
Yes, we did. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too, and I think our viewers learned many useful English expressions about books and reading.
Definitely. So now let's review some important vocabulary words from today's episode.
Great idea. Let's start with the word chapter.
A chapter is one part of a book. Most books have many chapters.
For example, I read 3 chapters before going to sleep.
Exactly. And sometimes one chapter ends with a surprise to make you continue reading.
I hate stopping at exciting chapters.
Me too. I always say, just one more chapter, but then I read 5 more.
Same here. Okay, what is our next word?
The next word is character.
A character is a person or animal in a story.
Yes, for example, Harry Potter is a famous character.
And sometimes readers feel very connected to characters,
That's true. Some characters feel like real friends.
especially when you spend many hours reading about them.
Exactly. Okay, the next word is plot.
Plot means the main story of a book.
Right, the plot explains what happens in the story.
For example, the plot was exciting and full of surprises.
Some books have simple plots and some have very complicated plots.
Sometimes I get confused when there are too many characters and too many storylines.
Me too. Then I need to go back and read again.
Okay, next word.
The next word is recommend.
Recommend means to say that something is good for another person.
Yes, for example, I recommend this book because it is funny and easy to read.
Tom, can you recommend a good book for beginners?
Of course, I recommend Charlotte's Web or The Little Prince. They are simple and beautiful.
Great choices. And finally, our last word is imagination.
Imagination is the ability to create pictures and ideas in your mind.
Fantasy books are wonderful for imagination.
Yes, reading helps your mind become more creative.
And reading in English also helps your vocabulary grow naturally.
Exactly. That is why reading is such a powerful way to learn English.
So, Emma, what advice do you have for English learners who want to start reading more?
My biggest advice is simple. Start with easy books.
That's very important.
Don't choose a book that feels too difficult. If every sentence is hard, you may feel tired quickly.
I agree. Reading should feel enjoyable, not stressful.
Also, try reading books you already know in your own language.
That really helps because you already understand the story.
Exactly. Then you can focus more on the English words and expressions.
Another good idea is reading a little every day.
Yes, even 10 minutes every day can help a lot.
Small daily practice is better than reading only once a month.
Definitely. And don't worry if you don't understand every word.
That is very important advice.
Sometimes learners stop reading because they see difficult words, but native speakers also see unknown words sometimes.
Exactly. Try to understand the general meaning first. And if a word appears many times, then you can check the dictionary.
Right. Learning naturally is often the best way.
Before we finish, let's quickly review today's vocabulary.
Great idea.
Chapter, one part of a book.
Character, a person or animal in a story.
Plot, the main story of a book.
Recommend, to say something is good for another person.
And imagination, the ability to create ideas and pictures in your mind.
Wonderful. Now it's time for our question for the viewers.
Yes, today's question is,
What is the best book you have ever read?
and why did you enjoy it?
You can write a short answer in the comments.
For example, my favorite book is Harry Potter because it is magical and exciting.
Or, I love The Little Prince because it is simple and emotional.
Don't worry about mistakes.
Just practice your English and have fun.
Thank you so much for listening today.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation about books and reading.
If you liked this episode, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget to keep reading and practicing English every day.
See you next time, everyone.
Happy reading and goodbye.
Bye.